Good morning, I'm Matt with Medina Minute. Today we're going to stop in 23 Public Square, known as Town Square Commons. Now this building has quite a bit of history in Medina. You know that we've had 2 fires in town, but this particular building was built in 1871 and was known as the Union Block. Some of the fun history is this was the original location of A.I. Root. Now Mr. Root started out as a jeweler, but then got into the bee industry and became a historic part of Medina. Today we're going to visit with some of the business owners inside and learn a little bit more about the history of Medina Square and what makes it tick. Well, today we're here with Melissa Malone from the bookstore and the Handmade Marketplace. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we know you as the owner of the bookstore and the Handmade Marketplace, but you're kind of this Renaissance woman with your hands on many, many different businesses. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that.
So from the bookstore, we also have Hadley Ray Publishing, where we work with local authors. And then I also own Medina Tent Company. We do a tent, table, chair, and event management. Mm-hmm. And I own Sweet Melissa Landscaping with my husband, who's a landscape architect. Yes, it's named after me. And that's pretty much it. There's some other little side things, but those are the basics.
So I'm guessing our personalities are probably more alike than I thought. So you have a landscaping business and a publishing business and a tent company, an event company, and a bookstore, which is kind of an art gallery as well.
Yes.
How in the world do you keep that all straight? Or do you just go with it?
Sometimes you have to just go with it.
Yeah.
It's just the reality. One, I've hired the most amazing teams in the world.
That's important.
So yeah, hugely important. And then time management. So I am such a nerd, and I'm known as the highlighter queen.
Okay.
And I have every color imaginable, and my schedule is completely highlighted out. You could truly look at my schedule and know where I am every second of the day.
That's impressive.
Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but for the most part, I have to try and stick with that and stay disciplined.
Okay. How do you do that? Where did you learn those skills? People today, we were just talking a bit, there's so much going on in our life today. How do you get yourself to focus and say, from this time I'm doing yellow highlighter stuff, then I switch to pink highlighter? Is that just something that's inherent in you?
I mean, I've had great role models over the years in business, and I think that's helped tremendously. And then having 4 kids into the mix, you have to stay on a schedule. So that helps. But it is, I know what happens when I don't, and it's pure chaos. Yeah. So I try and avoid that as much as possible, although it happens.
So how did you end up in Medina with your store? Are you from here? You're just driving through and thought, this is cute?
So yeah, my husband grew up in Brunswick. Okay. And that's where we started our lives together. And then we always found ourselves in Medina. All of our friends are here. Mm-hmm. Our jobs took us away to Aurora for a couple of years, and then we came back to Medina in 2013. Yeah. Or Medina County, and we knew that we wanted to be in Medina. So we moved here, and we just raised our family here.
Yeah. How did you end up with your store here in Town Square Commons?
So originally, I was supposed to open my first location in Medina. Okay. And it didn't work out in 2015 because the square's very competitive.
It's busy, yes. Yeah.
So unfortunately, it didn't work out. So we knew we wanted to open a location, and we went to Berea first. Okay. Unfortunately, they sold our building and canceled everyone's lease because they sold most of downtown Berea. Okay. Funny though is...
It just sounds so weird.
It's very weird.
They sold most of downtown.
They did. Okay. They're leveling most of historic Berea, which is actually very sad. But we had just signed the lease here as a second location, and then the week later they canceled our lease. So we just went down to the one location. Nice. It worked out.
Very cool. How? What's been your experience of being here up on the square and being part of this community?
I thought I knew the community, but you get a whole other dynamic when you have a business in the square.
Sure.
And it's just amazing. It's eye-opening, it's fun, it's vibrant, it's just a whole other world.
What are some of the things that have surprised you about the community, or things that you've learned or observed maybe?
Actually, two things. Funny. One, people really are dedicated to their parking spot.
Okay.
So that was always surprising. I've heard rumors, but they really like up close parking.
Yeah.
And then the other surprising thing is that you think Medina's kind of a small town community, and you realize that it's not, and that it's so much bigger. And you have people that come in every day to your store, and they're like, "I've never been here before," and I'm like, "Where do you live?" "In Medina." Like, "Where have you been?" So it's to realize that there's so many more people out there, and you think that you see everyone at the events, but you really don't.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. With the bookstore, what does Medina like to read? What are people into? I know Harry Potter is huge with you.
Harry Potter is
personally
big.
And professionally.
I don't know about personally. My assistant manager, Kathy, is Harry's #1 fan.
Okay.
So everything Harry in the store is all Kathy. I take no credit for that. I'm learning. But Harry's obviously huge. And then that's why we do the Harry Potter Fun Run every year.
And when is that again?
October 7th this year. And basically we sell all new releases. So we have 6,000 new releases or coming out as movie, award-winning books.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then
that's a lot of books. I didn't realize that you had that much in the store.
It's nice because we have it spread out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like I've traveled the world, and I am always drawn to bookstores, which is kind of where this love came from.
Okay.
And I could never stand the stores where I felt squished. So I've spread most of it out. And we have a warehouse of over 2 million books.
Oh my gosh.
So we can get anything that you want, but we only keep the newest releases in the store.
Okay.
So people are reading big fiction, you know, community. They love their fiction. A lot of history, which is really great because that's my kind of genre. And then certainly we're working more with the schools now with their reading list, which is great. And I like to see that the classics still sell.
Yeah.
They're the #1 seller.
What's your favorite book? Do you have one?
A Separate Peace.
Tell me about that.
I had an English teacher in high school that was just flamboyant and acted out every possible scene of every book. And this one happened to be his favorite, and he made me fall in love with it. And it's
A Separate Peace.
It's Dead Poets Society. The movie is based off of the book A Separate Peace.
Gotcha. Okay. Seize the day, right? Carpe diem.
Seize the day.
Awesome. You've traveled the world. What's your favorite place that you visited?
London.
That was quick.
I'm totally English.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
What did you love about it?
The history.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm a huge history buff, so the history is just you can't find that here.
Yeah. So you're right. I mean, we only have 200 years of history. They have like 2,000.
Right.
Was the history of our town something that attracted you to Medina?
Totally.
Okay.
It reminds me of the European downtown, the outskirts of the cities.
Yeah.
And the buildings, just the houses, just the way it was laid out was very European, and that was a huge attraction.
So I understand now your connection with the bookstore and the marketplace. Tell me about the landscaping part of it. How does that fit into all of this going on up here?
I don't know. My husband's a landscape architect.
Okay.
And so he started his business in 2003. And we've evolved that business over the years. We've sold off divisions. We've redesigned and restructured parts. And when we sold off a couple divisions in 2010 under his old name, and it's just because he started getting away from what he loved to do, which was design.
Yeah.
And sometimes as a business owner, you need that break and you need to reset.
Yep.
So he did that, and he went into teaching and also doing design. And then he said, "You know what? I want to restructure how we have the business."
Okay.
So I said, "Well, this time I'm going to name it." So we're in Medina, and Melissa means honeybee, and the bee of Medina.
Nice.
And my husband used to always play that song from the Altman Brothers, "Sweet Melissa."
Okay.
when we first started dating, that's how he wooed me. And so
And it worked?
It worked.
Okay.
So I was like, it's fitting.
That's hysterical.
So I handle the operations and the marketing side of that business. He's the project manager. He handles all the projects and scheduling and the crews and all of that.
Wow. Are the kids involved in any of this?
100%.
Yeah? They like it?
They do.
That's cool. How old are your kids?
9, 8, 5, and 4.
Okay.
My 9-year-old recently came to me with a business plan for her own business.
Nice.
So that made my heart flutter.
Yeah. What's her plan? What does she want?
She's a huge baker.
Okay.
So she wants to open up a gourmet cookie business.
Awesome.
So she has a name, a business plan, and she's ready to go.
Is she going to intern up here at Honeybee?
I'm thinking so.
That would be really
She's
cool.
going to need to.
So you also bought the tent company. So we
Yes.
used to work with, what was it before?
GB Tent Company.
I was with them, and now it's Medina Tent.
Yes.
How does that fit in? Or is that just, it was an opportunity?
Kind of
I'm
both.
trying to piece together this patchwork
There's
quilt
no
of
way
your
to
mind.
do it. Don't try.
Because it's kind of like a constellation of there's this and this, and somehow they all connect, and we get you.
Honestly, 10 years ago, I said I wanted to diversify my business portfolio. And
You did it.
I did it. I never wanted to be stuck in one area. Plus, I
Yeah.
like my days always being different.
Okay.
I had worked with Eric for years with events
Sure.
in Brunswick. And when he was getting back into business for himself, he had called me and said, I want to partner this time. Mm-hmm. And so that was in 2015.
Okay.
And so it was kind of opportunistic at that time.
Sure.
And my husband thought I was crazy. But I had a great partner, and
Yeah.
Eric's still with me to this day. I can't let him leave
He's
me.
fantastic.
He is.
He's really fantastic.
And so he's never leaving me.
Okay. Does he know that yet?
I think so.
Okay. So you, having the store and being involved in this so much, you have a lot of opportunity to interact with residents and guests to the town. What is your quintessential Medina? How do you describe this town? Or when someone is visiting, what do you say, you got to go here, you got to try this, you got to see this?
I describe us as truly like a Hallmark movie.
Okay.
I mean, we really are. Just
Sure.
the scene and the setting of Medina. And then community-wise, I always stay extremely tight-knit.
Okay.
You have your groups that are extremely close, and then you have, a broader group that are close as well. But it seems like we're all working towards the same goal.
Okay, cool.
Whatever that is, in whatever conversation, it always seems to be working towards the same outcome.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite building on the square, or something that when you drive into work every morning just makes you smile?
I would say my favorite building is Second Souls.
Oh, interesting. Now tell me about that.
I just love how it's the colors, and I
Okay.
love how it's right next to the fountain now.
Gotcha.
And you've got the larger part in the front, you've got kind of a smaller part in the back,
Yeah.
and it's just broken up a little bit. But I'd say that's probably one of my
That's fascinating.
favorite buildings.
All right, cool. So we were joking earlier. I said, if our interview is going south, we're going to go old school Barbara Walters. And now I have to ask you, what if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
I've been told I'm an oak.
And why is that? I mean, when I think of an oak, I think of something very strong and solid and lives forever, which I think actually does describe you.
I don't know. It's just, they said my husband's a palm tree because he sways with the wind.
Okay.
And so I'm like,
He just goes with it.
Yeah, he just goes with it. Whereas I don't really go with it. Like, I have to have a plan. It has to
Okay, I get it
be
now.
solid.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has to be firm. I have to know what's happening. I don't like surprises.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm an oak.
Okay, fair enough. Melissa, thank you so much. This has been awesome getting to know you and learn more about you. And I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.